When it comes to the game we love, right here makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms? Light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Final still.
Girl, easy! Whoa!
Does he have it? Yes, he does! What a shot! John Schuster! Oh my goodness! A third of a rock for... That would make sense when I did curl.
Well, we gotta not kill that. It's gotta just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah? Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always in the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4 foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the right guards back.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, and it's dead nose and just, it's gonna go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
I think it does. Here.
Okay, so it might, close to dead.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking, and we needed to like use signs and show what we meant instead of just shouting out a number or like play this hit and roll kind of thing. We had to show everything, so that added another level, I guess, to our game. After that, we've been a little better when the crowd is loud or when you can't hear as well.
Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for Line ever.
No, they like Line. Now does it have the speed? They like the Line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for Line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
I stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a Gold Line. It's a Gold Line. It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
This week, we're going to meet those participating here in Draw 6 momentarily, but before we do that, a couple of quick announcements. If you want to head down and watch the game in the Jackpot City Lounge, you can do so. See your favorite teams up close on ice level, have a drink, the bar is open. Also, we have some great sponsors on both concourses. If you want to go see what they're giving out, they have some great contests. see what they have to offer. They're around all day. But we came today for the curling. So with that said, let's meet the team starting on sheet A. First up, throwing the Yellow Rocks. Coming in with a record of 1-0. Curling in Stirling, Scotland, Team White. Their opponents throwing the Red Rocks, coming in with an 0-1 record. Curling out of Gladus, Switzerland, Team Housley. And on sheet B, first up, throwing the Yellow Rocks, coming in with an 0-1 record from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Team Dunstone. And throwing the Red Rocks, coming in with an 0-1 record, curling out of Trentino, Italy, Team Rincon. And on sheet C, first up, throwing the Red Rocks, coming in with a 1-0 record, curling out of Gimli, Manitoba, Canada, Team Einarson. And throwing the Yellow Rocks, coming in with a 1-0 record, curling out of Gangneung, Korea, Team Kim. And our final matchup on sheet D, first up, throwing the Yellow Rocks, coming in with a 1-0 record from Aarau, Switzerland, Team Tirinzone. And their opponents throwing the Red Rocks with an 0-1 record, curling out of Ujeongu, Korea, Team Give. Curling fans, be as loud as you want, when you want, but please, photography. Games will begin momentarily. Good luck to all, and good curling.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back inside the Mattamy Athletic Center, home of the AMJ Campbell Players Championship, the fifth and final event of the Grand Slam of Curling calendar here in 2024-2025. It is Team Carrie Einarson facing off against Team Eunjung Kim. John Cullen alongside 2018 Olympic gold medalist Tyler George here with you this afternoon for a crucial game for both of these teams, sitting at 1-0. Would love to get that second win. And we're going to take a look at the team lineups here in a second. Team Kim curling out of Gangneung, South Korea, Eunjung Kim at skip, Kyung-Ae Kim at third, Cho-hee Kim at second, and Sun-Young Kim at lead. And across the sheet from them, it's Team Einarson from Gimli, Manitoba. Skip is Carrie Einarson, third, Val Sweeting, second, Carly Burgess, and lead, Kristen Karwacki. All right, Tyler, I'll throw it over to you. What are you expecting from these two teams? I feel like it's two teams that both love to have rocks in play. Should be a good game here for us this afternoon.
Oh, they definitely like to mix it up, John. Expect to see a lot of rocks in play, as you said. Hopefully a lot of points on the board as well. And, I mean, we have to give a little bit of the commentator bump to Carrie Einarson, as she's already been in the booth this week. We always expect wins from the players that come up here for their guest spots. Carrie was a pleasure to have, as always. But, again, they don't win their games following the appearances, may not get them back up in the booth.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although, really, I feel like that's a loss to us and not to them.
Well, that's the point.
We say, hey, guess what? You're not allowed to be in the booth anymore. And they say, okay.
Yeah, that's only hurting us.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we love to hurt ourselves up here. Center guard indeed up for Kristen Karwacki with her first, maybe a little higher than they would have liked. And we're going to see Sun-Young Kim come around.
The all-Kim squad. Once again, we saw that for the men's team at the World Championships as well, with their 5-man rotation, did at some point have all 4 Kim players on the ice. And we have that here for this extremely accomplished team, John, from this season.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just looking at it. This is the number 4 versus the number 5 ranked teams in this game. Einarson sitting at 4 and Kim just behind them at 5. There's only about 6 points separating them in the World Curling Tour standings. But yeah, almost a little bit sneaky, this Kim team, because we haven't seen them in a big final, but they have made the semifinals at a couple slams this year. Lost to a team you might have heard of, Rachel Homan. Yeah, made a quarterfinal as well. They have qualified in every event they've played in. They've won a couple as well. They were winners of the Stu Cells Toronto, beating Silvana Tiranzoni in that final. And it's been a really good year for them. And, you know, like you said, Tyler, we've watched them on tour for a number of years now. I believe they won an Olympic silver in the year you won a gold.
Correct,
so you'd be familiar with them from that. But yeah, it's been really a pleasure to watch them over the last few seasons. They've really turned into one of the world's best.
That even hearing the word Gangneung in the introductions still puts a smile on my face. You like that location?
Yeah. Is that where the women's worlds were? No, it was in Uijeongbu, right?
Yes, the worlds was in Uijeongbu. It's not real far away, but not the same arena or anything by any means. Good sweep to hold that one. Stays underneath the guard as well.
Yeah, very nice from Kyung-Hae Kim there on the inside of the stone. Unfortunately, that guard being high is maybe going to not deliver on our promise of lots of rocks in play here.
Yeah, one of those high ones that serve as an annoyance, John.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you can get underneath them, but you can just about dig anything out on ice that swings a decent amount.
Yeah, I don't know if you've called a game on this sheet yet, but this was the sheet that I called last night, and there were definitely some tricky spots, some straight spots on the ice that Team Hasselborg and Team Gim got caught on, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Have not had a game here, but saw the same on sheets A and B, where it seems as though there may be a hill on the walkway between A and B, as normally we do see the straighter side being coming off of the fan side on the end sheets, which we definitely did see. But we had more curl going the same direction on sheet B, almost like it's kind of peaked in between those two sheets.
Yeah, definitely Chelsea, my commentary partner last night, Chelsea Carey, was talking about a potential dish on our sheet. Just kind of looked like maybe there was a little ridge that the teams got caught on, but also just the slide path was causing a little bit of an issue, and we also noticed the houses were a little more dead than that you're usually used to seeing at a slam,
right.
Whether that's the rocks or the houses themselves, not sure, but teams weren't really getting the reactions off of stones that they were expecting.
Yeah, I think that's been the case across the board for every sheet that we've seen so far. So that's probably partially the ice and partially the striking bands. The rocks aren't bouncing off as lively as we might normally see. And you're seeing more stones both stopping in the 4-foot in the slide path and in the outside 12-foot all around the house, whether it's by the back line or going towards the sideboards. That rocks aren't quite gliding as much to clear the rings. So not necessarily a bad thing. Doesn't play as much to shot making per se, but it rewards better throws where you definitely need to make a little bit more contact with hack weight to make a rock go, so you're not hitting a quarter to a third and having the rock flying off the sheet, which I think is better for viewing purposes, for rewarding shooters.
So we are just seeing the teams exchange hits here with this singular rock out in the rings. It'll be Val Sweeting's turn here. Team Kim starting with the hammer in this first end by virtue of winning the draw to the button.
10-5. Easy. 10-5. Clean.
Yeah, I do think for the fans watching at home, maybe seeing some more lopsided scores than they've been used to seeing, and I do think it is partially that trickier ice that does have something to do with it.
Good speed.
So we will definitely keep an eye on that as this game goes on. Hit made for Val Sweeting, so Kyung-Hae Kim will do the same here. And I guess to your point, Tyler, it doesn't seem like either team really trying too aggressively for the roll, because I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, with how much distance there is between the rock in the house and the guard, it's not overly difficult to dig the stone out. So you might see the team with hammer play the role if they can keep it anywhere 8 foot or higher. The team without hammer would still be happy to use that guard as a deterrent of some sort. They don't really care if it's behind the tee or not.
Look, perhaps Cho-hee clicked that guard on the way by when they were sweeping it, so they were just putting it back to its rightful place. Second stone here for Val Sweeting. We talked about Kim having a great year. Einarson has had a great year as well. They won a slam back in September, the Tour Challenge in Charlottetown, handing Rachel Homan one of her only losses of the year in that final. She also won the Saville Grand Prix with Joanne Courtney. That was back in October. And of course, we just saw in February losing that Scotties final to Rachel Homan. Very well played game by Team Einarson. The wheels kind of fell off a little bit late, but the first 6 or 7 ends of that game were extremely well played, and Einarson has kind of established herself right now, Tyler, I would say, as the very clear second best team in Canada.
Yeah, and that's a very high mark, chasing the team that they are, Team Homan having what we believe to be the greatest tour season, and I guess now you can add international to that with their World Championship, that we've ever seen. So if you're in that second spot, you might be having a historic year. Yeah. It's just not going to be to the level of what Rachel Homan's team has done. And anytime you're ranked in the top 5 in the world, you're still doing a lot of things right, regardless of the distance between yourself and the #1 team.
Yeah, no question about it, and it is a huge distance. It's honestly shocking to see the number in the World Curling standings. Rachel Homan atop the leaderboard with 500 World Curling Tour points. In second is Silvana Tirinzoni with 349.
That's just an amazing number.
A 151-point gap between 1 and 2. Pretty unbelievable. Carey sitting in 4th place with 300, so almost a full 200 points behind Rachel Homan. But then Carey is quite a bit higher than the next closest Canadian team. Kayla Skurlik at 13 is only at 200. So you've got Homan 200 above Einarson, and then Einarson another 100 above Skurlik. So that's the kind of tiers I think we're dealing with. You kind of got Homan in their own tier, Einarson in their own tier, and then there's a group of teams maybe in that third tier, Skurlik, Christina Black, Caitlin Laws, etc.
The crazy number is that the gap between Homan and Tirinzoni at 1 and 2 is greater than the gap between Tirinzoni and Skurlik at 2
13.
and 13.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. Not enough words in the English language to describe it as Carey Einarson rolls out into the 8-foot. Looked like she maybe was a little bit wide and sort of seeming what she's saying to Val here, maybe a little heavy as well. So Eunjung Kim's first here in the first. Just don't want to roll out here, I suppose. You also don't want to completely miss it. Oh, boy.
Well, those hits towards the outside of the sheet, and this one really wasn't way out in the wings. It was still in the 8-foot. Generally, you see skips play solid weight on those shots early in games in case there's some sort of frost or a path that you haven't really gone through yet, and that was probably control weight and over curls and just touches that stone. So always a good thing to take the ice out of it when you get the opportunity to on those types of shots. That one goes by, and now a soft steal opportunity for Einarson, but definitely a force on the table.
Yeah, it was never looking like a force up until that last miss, and yeah, I agree with you, Tyler. Not really a reason to play such a low weight, and maybe that was less weight than she wanted to throw, too. We have to, leave room for a potential thrower mistake there, but yeah, definitely less than they had to throw. It over curls, and so Carey Einarson can draw around this center guard and set up the lying of 2, rather, to potentially force Eunjung here. Don't want to go too deep and give Eunjung just a chance to hit it for her 1. Fortunately, that's about 6 feet heavier than Carey would have liked. She was hoping to have that one in the top 12 or top 8. So Unjung, I think, going to play a heavy draw here down to that stone that Carrie Einarson just threw for her 1. Final stone, Unjung Kim needs to find the full 4-foot for 1.
And that rock going behind the tee line allows for a safer shot playing the draw with backing.
Yeah, sweepers don't seem too panicked here, so I'm guessing she's close, and indeed, that will nestle in just on top of the red stone, so a little bit of a sneaky force for Carrie Einarson. She will have the hammer in the second.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
So a sneaky force there for Carrie Einarson in the first end. She will now have the hammer in the second, and chance to flip the hammer early here, Tyler.
Yeah, definitely sneaky when your opponent flashes a hit on you. Didn't see that coming at all. That wide open hit. So ends up that Einarson is able to get that force. See how aggressively they attack here in the second end. To be going to the corner guard. Didn't really expect Carrie to waste much time in attacking here either.
Yeah, no question.
I think there's almost something too, like when you get that force, you feel like, all right, we got hammer, let's go get him. And then you throw
Yes.
that corner guard up.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, you get a little unexpected bonus there, and you want to take advantage as early as you can, capitalize on that momentum. Totally agree with you, partner. So the corner guard is up for Kristen Karwacki.
Yeah.
As we start to get a little more clarity on this Team Einarson lineup, we now know Brianne Harris is out of the picture, which I would imagine leaves Kristen Karwacki feeling pretty good about her chances of being a full-time member of this team next year.
Yeah, chatted with Carrie a little bit about the lineup and what to expect too, and she said they're going to be monitoring Shannon's recovery from pregnancy and hopefully a happy, healthy child on the way, and then the sooner that she's ready to go, the sooner they can set what they're going to use for the season going forward and figure out what route they want to go.
Yeah, I think we're mostly just wondering about Carly Burgess's role in all of this. As we know, they're currently sitting at 5 team members, so will that be a 5-person rotation for next year? Will it be a 5-person lineup but not a rotation where maybe Carly's the 5th if Shannon is healthy and back in? I think those are the things that curling fans will look forward to finding out about when the season is over. But
yeah, I didn't push Carrie real hard on that.
What?
But the sense I got just from speaking with her was that they weren't really sure yet, because it all depends on Shannon's recovery. And if she's healthy and ready to go, then it may change what they do going forward, but they won't really know that until you get closer to next season, and that's totally understandable. And it makes sense to not lay a lineup out there before you know if you're going to have all options on the table.
Totally. Well, and I think for Carly, you know, we do talk about that big gap between Einarson and that next pack of teams below them. So for her, is potentially being the alternate on Team Einarson a better scenario than, you know, any of the potential free spaces that might be out there? I mean, I don't think any of the trials teams are going to be changing their lineups on the women's side other than that Brianne Harris move that Kate Cameron made. So I think for Carly, if she was to find her way onto another team, it would be a team that's in the pre-trials. How interesting is that to Carly? I don't know. The pre-trials is going to be a gauntlet this year. It's 8 teams for only 1 spot. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. This has been a curling season unlike any other with all the movement and the drama. As that one comes up a little short for Cho-hee. So we are going to see Carly Burgess, speaking of, play the run back double here.
A relatively short run, but pretty much dead lined up, buried, so hard to roll the shooter away very far if you make this.
Really nice
The
from
shooter does only roll a few inches, but
really
great
nice.
shot.
Yeah, great from Carly Burgess. Just a reminder, we have 3 other games out here for you this afternoon. Ross White taking on Marco Husley, Joelle Retornaz taking on Matt Dunstone, and Eunji Kim taking on Silvana Tiranzoni. All games available here on the Home Team Network. And our broadcast partners, Brent Lang, Chris Plies, have commentary of the Husley White game for you.
Big debut for Chris.
Yeah,
no
first
pressure.
time in the booth this year. Yeah,
don't mess up. We'll boot you out mid-game.
Oh yeah, we have no problem with that. This is very nice from Cho-hee Kim. Came a little short last time, but put it pretty much exactly where they wanted.
Carey wants to move these around, but trying to keep their own red too.
Karwacki picking this one up early. Nice hold from her there. Actually, maybe overswept it a smidge.
And you see how dead those rolls are coming off that stone, too. That looked like it hit half a rock and only rolled a couple feet. With control weight, you would expect that to spring farther towards that corner guard, but that's something the players are going to have to adjust to as this goes. And very rarely do you see striking bands get more live as the week goes. You can't paper those things.
So hit and roll here, I think, Tyler. Try to kick their yellow over.
Yeah, they'd like to create some separation coming off of it and not leave a pocket. Not a lot of weight for this shot, though, with where that broom is set. Wouldn't expect this to turn really hard if you have anything more than control. So could be trying to roll to the back of the stone and maybe have both of them move towards the center.
Yeah, certainly with this weight, I don't think they're going to be kicking that yellow too far with these dead houses.
Really going to get by the guard first.
Yeah, Sun Young on it right out of the hand. They do get by the guard, but no roll at all. Carrie Einarson still lying 1 here with hammer.
And that definitely plays into a double for Carrie. Lines up pretty naturally.
So a double is the call here for Val Sweeting, trying to get rid of both Team Kim stones. Lie 2. You'd love for this to stick right there and not roll through the hole, and indeed it does. So very nice shot there from Sweeting.
Yeah, if that hits just a hair thinner, or thicker, excuse me. Spins up towards that guard as well. Now the double is open.
Yeah, good look at it from our overhead here. You can see there's quite a bit of space for Kyung-Hae Kim here. Sun Young on this right out of the hand, trying to hold it to get both, but that will just nut on that back red.
A good opportunity for Einarson now to set up a 2 or a 3. All about rock positioning now, not leaving the double back.
What do you got of this? Yeah. What do you like?
Yeah.
If you know the speed, the in-turn come around draw for Val would be a good shot. They're going to chat about this one. They know that there's a good opportunity here.
It's either that or you do this, Val. Yeah, without leaving it double. I thought that too, it just curls so much on this side. I just don't know if we could keep it. Yeah, I'm probably playing the run. I don't hate you that. Split the center line. Like there. Yeah, and just thinking like throwing.
Seems like they don't really love any of the options here, Tyler.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great angles, and the best spot overall is probably on a path that they're not sure about the speed. So just playing the path I think they know the best. They can stagger this underneath the guard. So just playing Val's in-turn underneath the corner.
Yeah, I think they'd love to get a little bit of separation between the red stones. Going to try and bump this red one back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely would like to move it. That'll get you a little kick towards the corner as well.
It'll just be a matter of managing the weight here for Val Sweeting, especially with how the houses have been playing so far. Seems like they're caught in between here.
Yeah, you don't want to sit them right next to each other. That's close. It looks like the double is there. There is some space. I don't know that you really needed to tap there, John. You could easily just throw and stagger underneath high in the house and not leave any kind of double unless you play a run. But they felt like they wanted to tap that and roll underneath when I think they could have just tucked as much as they could playing the clean draw.
Yeah, one of those things sometimes when you talk about it for that long, you're trying to come up with the most creative option. Maybe over-talked it a little bit there. So this is a good opportunity for Eunjung Kim to make a double and potentially get the force back on the table here.
Needs the curl to clear the second stone.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I think you can still get inside on that, though. You got to get close to the guard, but you don't need to clear it. You just need to push it to even half out of the 8-foot. You'll be sitting 2.
Yeah, and sitting 2 buried.
Yeah, I like that.
Just back line.
Okay.
Back line like 13? it's close. Like Val's was at 13-8.
Okay. Yep, I like that.
Okay.
John, you heard back line, so they are just trying to move the stone back, not to kill it, but really would like to get as close to that guard as they can and get as much of a roll with this weight as possible.
First rock for Carrie Einarson, second end.
Oh. Carl, if you're up. We're close. Carl!
Kristen Karwacki trying to bring this over. You heard her say this is closer to hack.
Yeah, they're audibling now, trying to roll the other way.
Oh boy. That only moves the Kim stone into being shot.
Now the good thing is that the double is really staggered, so not even sure if you can make it. It's really tight to the guard to get there. So they may just have to play a soft hit and roll underneath the corner instead. You could also roll middle and try to poke it between the two, but a little more risky.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was probably not even in the half.
인턴으로 가다 저기 서는 게 별로? 이쪽 너무 이쪽이라서. 인턴은 안 될 것 같아요. 네, 아웃으로 가야 될 것 같아요. 근데 라인이 이쪽이 정확하지 않아서. 조금만 더 줘. 바깥만 안 주면 이쪽 안쪽을 안 보여주면 될 것 같아.
Guard is the call here for Eunjung Kim. One of those situations where you put a guard up and pray.
Yeah, a little risky here. And anything hitting that stone has the risk of jamming as well, but it's hard not to leave some kind of shot for multiple points. It definitely looks like red is third count too.
Yes, I would think so.
From the overhead for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. So the guard is
over
curls. Yeah, actually I was about to say it's in the right spot, but then yeah, as soon as we saw that
it's a guard
far end angle, yeah, it did over curl for sure.
Yeah, the shot looks to be there for 3 for Einarson. Again, has to be somewhat tight to the guard, but the angle plays well.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We make it right. This is for 3. Okay. Okay. It's like probably like bump. Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah, you heard Kristen say even same weight. She was a little heavy last time, so
Same weight, guys.
Yeah.
there you go. Carrie confirming.
Now we're thinking like a 12, hey, Val?
Yeah. You got it.
So it is starting inside the center line as well. We've seen some rocks take a little time to climb that peak on the center. Shouldn't have that issue here as long as it starts inside that line.
Final stone, Carrie Einarson. Potential shot for 3.
A little bit of a pop. They need to curl.
Kristen Karwacki trying to bring this over. Don't want to overcook it, though. You got to get the angle right. Got to get by the guard. I think they just touched it.
Overcooked it on the carve.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate. That was probably a made shot, but they get on the carve, and they carve it right into the guard. So a steal for Eunjung Kim. They lead 2-0.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all 3.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
Well, Tyler, I think if Carrie Einarson goes on to lose this game, that will be a shot that she rues missing. Obviously, you don't like to miss any shot as a skip, but probably a shot that was made out of the hand with proper sweeping. Unfortunately, they go to the carve a little early. It skates over and clicks the guard on what was a difficult shot, but a very makeable shot for 3.
Yeah, and you got to be really careful, John, when you have those shots on slam ice. There's 2 different tracks, I should say 3 different tracks that run completely different for those releases. One, if you're starting on the opposite side of the center line and it needs to cross it, it should curl because it's not starting on the line. If you start on the center line, it might take a second to go. That one started inside the track altogether, so it's going to go. It's simple. You have to believe it's going to curl, but that's not a shot where you're playing a safe side. You're just playing to make it. So Val made the call based on what she was seeing, knowing you have to get pretty close to the guard to make it. And it's not one where you have this big margin for error where you're saying, well, we just have to make sure we're by. You have to be precise to make that shot. You're just going off the read that you have out of hand. So it's hard to fault Val, as she saw all that space between, but she'll probably be a little more patient if you get another look at a similar shot like that. Doesn't help on the scoreboard.
Yeah, for sure. As that corner guard flirts with the rings, but ultimately ends up short. Where she wanted it, Kristen Karwacki.
So really good rock placement for Team Kim, starting the end off with that rock buried underneath the center guard, full 8 foot. The draw path is a little bit tricky on this side now, but still plenty of room to come through for Kristen. So going all the way into the wings and around. And I think Kristen Karwacki assumed that would be a little heavier. Usually it is, but that one skates through the house. That's not the first time we've seen that type of miss this week either, John, where teams go out in the wing, try to draw around the outside of semi-center guards or even corner guards and expect that it's going to be slower out there, and it hasn't been the case. We've seen a few deep misses on those tracks, very rarely short.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who played career lead and had to make a few of those way out in the wings like that, I know for a fact you sit in the hack and you think, okay, I do got to throw this heavier. Even if your teammates are telling you or you've seen other games, it's very hard to talk yourself out of that shot being heavier.
And it's a lot different playing that shot 90% of the time on club ice.
Yes,
the arenas tend to be keener in the outside where you don't have to worry about that, but we'll make sure the club curler knows, yes, that is an adjustment that you're probably making most of the time on that type of shot. You just see the elite tournaments on arena ice where the ice is pristine, usually right to the edges. The only tracks that you see a little bit slower usually early in games on slam ice is when you get inside the draw path and it has to cross the center line, and that tends to be a little bit fresh.
So they were trying for the run back double there, get rid of all 3 yellow stones. Unfortunately, Carly Burgess drives it by, and this will be an opportunity for Eunjung Kim here to peel this corner guard, and it'd be very difficult for Einarson to score 2 if they make this good.
Both teams struggling a little bit with reading the ice and getting the conditions right now. We saw the same thing early in the game, late morning, with Dushu and Jacobs. So all teams, all draws right now, just taking a little bit to sharpen up. And I think we're seeing a little bit different conditions than we saw yesterday too. With the speed, is the one thing we've seen that it's faster. Maybe today
definitely
than it was
looks
yesterday.
faster for sure. I agree. And this was the sheet that the Battle of the Sexes was played on, and I know just being on the coach's bench for that game and hearing Rachel interact with her team, they were definitely finding this sheet quite tricky, and certainly the game I called on this sheet last night too between Gim and Hasselborg, definitely heard and saw that the teams felt it was a little on the tricky side. So yeah, it could be just the case that it's also this sheet is maybe a little trickier than the other three. Not that they're not all tricky, but Carly Burgess unfortunately can't get rid of all 3 yellows. Does get rid of 2 though. Eunjung Kim now with the opportunity to split the house. Kyung-Ae Kim would love to get this one in the wings on the opposite side of that yellow, as close to even as possible. Really the goal for Team Kim now is just to never set up a double. Hope you can get the force out of Einarson. Nothing at all from Cho-hee and Sun Young. Need this one to stop. Does it stop in time? Just.
We'll hold the paint, very important. Try to maintain this force. No guards in play.
Yeah, there is an angle here for Val Sweeting. You don't have to even chase the double necessarily or get super aggressive with that, but definitely you can roll over in the vicinity of that other yellow stone and start to make things a little more complicated. Oh, they're going hard for the double, and they have it. Great shot from Val Sweeting. Here I am up here. Oh, you don't have to try that hard for the double, but clearly they thought this might be their only chance to get that good of an angle, and Val Sweeting makes good on it. What a shot.
Definitely a bit of risk, but getting kind of late in the end. So they wanted to make sure that they had a good look. They're going to take it, but I agree, John. It's usually with your first stone and that long of a double and that type of angle, you're probably only playing close to normal and rolling that way. If it catches just right, you can still make the double, but anything you get in the area of that other stone, you're probably getting a better look on your next one. But they felt good about that one, played it aggressive, and if you make it, play it whenever you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, fantastic shot. So this looks like we are heading for a blank here in all likelihood, as there's just a single stone in the rings now for Val Sweeting to hit. Love to nose or at least stick in the ring so you don't give Eunjung a free chance at draw weight. This one is really curling though. And they are going to roll that one just a little bit. Still sitting on the button. I talked about this last night on the broadcast too, Tyler, but had the opportunity to sit down for a Korean lunch with Eunjung Kim and Anna Hasselborg yesterday. It was her first ever English interview.
Wow.
And she was
Big
great.
moment.
Yeah, she was great. It was a lot of fun getting introduced to some different Korean dishes and learned a little bit of the language. Turns out I'm pretty bad at it.
I was going to say, I think it's only fair you get your first Korean interview too. Then.
I agree. I'll work towards it. I don't know who in Korea would want to talk to me. But
I don't think Eunjung would. I think she's going to pass.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got a little experience with that now.
Yeah.
With your lack of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it was great. Curling fans can look forward to seeing that feature a little later this week. And I spent this morning at a cat cafe with Ross White and Matt Dunstone.
Was that their choice or yours? 'Cause now I need more information on this.
Okay, well, are you familiar with the concept of a cat cafe?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's exactly what it sounds
yes,
like.
Yes. It's you can have a coffee, pet some cats. It's usually a way to facilitate adoption.
Okay, so you don't bring your own.
No, you don't bring your own. No,
okay.
you don't bring your own. So it's
right.
usually cats that are available for adoption. They figure if you come in and you pet the cats, you might want to take one home, which that's a good bet. That's a good bet. So, yeah, both Matt Dunstone and Ross White, kind of the two cat guys, I would say, on tour, the two most prominent cat guys.
I didn't know that about either one of them.
Oh, okay.
I really hope that makes it to their Wikipedia.
Me too. Yeah, Matt has Winston.
He's got a good one already.
Yeah, he's got Winston at home. Yes, that too. He's got Winston at home, who's a tabby, and then I believe Ross has a black and white cat named Doja.
Well, there you go.
And so, yeah, they were both loving it. There was one kitten in particular that loved Ross, was like perched on his shoulders the whole time. It was, it was a really fun way to spend an afternoon, get to know the athletes a little more in the sport, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that's another feature you can look forward to later this week.
See, when these things pop up, all I can think about is, like these teams after the game, specifically Einarson, because they'll understand everything we're saying. Watching the tape back, so let's see what we did, and listen to the commentary.
Yeah.
And you get a half an end of talking about cat cafes and.
Well, when it's a blank end,
if you're trading hits, ladies, that's what we're going to get.
That's what's going to happen. So this is the final stone for Kerri Einarson. It is a blank attempt. And seems as though they like it. And that got maybe a little closer than they were expecting in the end, but Kerri Einarson does make it. We'll put a couple zeros on the board, and we'll be right back.
Let me say what's best for me, to feel at ease, to feel happy. Lovely weather with the breeze, the simplest things. Sad love.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
Well, Tyler, we're into the fourth end now, and Kerri Einarson yet to get a point on the board. Do wonder if we'll see them get a little bit more aggressive here, knowing that we're almost halfway through this game. They're down 2.
I think they played a fairly aggressive second end, and they had their opportunity for the 3, but just barely clicked that guard. So I don't think you're changing a whole lot for Kerri. You just need to execute, finish the end off, seeing if you could put 8 shots together. But they'll definitely go to a corner with this one starting off in the house.
Yeah, I don't mind that call from Kim. You probably know that Einarson's going to throw the corner, and if they don't, you're fine with that too. So I like it.
The important thing for Kerri, and I'm not concerned that she'll do this, is you're down 2. And you had the opportunity for a 3 already. So just stick with what you're doing. If you get 2, you're tied up at the break, even though you were probably a little frustrated earlier in the game. But you're not in dire straits by any means. Just find your 2-point end, get to the break, have a good chat, and move on for the second half. Only takes a couple made shots to get that 2.
Yeah, definitely one of those situations. Don't need to blow your brains out here, but certainly you'd love to get on the board.
Well, I don't think anything said anything about that.
Okay, well.
Jeez, we're getting dark up here now. We went from cat cafe to that. These were so bright a few minutes ago. Just sitting up here enjoying the game and my cappuccino, and man alive. John just got to go there.
Well, you know. I got a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're going to see Team Einarson ignore the situation in the middle, draw another one around their corner guard. Again, that corner guard maybe a little higher than they would have liked it.
Yeah, the same with the center. It chokes off the draw path, too, for Einarson to come in on that intern side. So I'd like to get underneath the corner and maybe at the very least force Kim to play something to that corner guard. And if they move it, then they're opening up that side, too.
It's a pretty good spot with how high that guard is, just in top 12, slightly overburied.
It's probably ideal position. You're not concerned about scoring area right now, just about getting rocks on the paint.
Yeah.
좋아. 네. 기다려. 라인 여유 있어. 다섯. 피네. 라이트로. 그냥 와. 셋이야, 셋. 그냥 와야 돼.
So I think looking for another guard here is Team Kim. Just want this one in a little deeper and better position. And that's a really good spot for that from Cho-hee.
뭐야, 갑자기 죽었나? 안 나가.
That is going to force the runner here out of Carly Burgess. Carey taking a look over at that red one. Ooh, just misses it. Nice shot there from Carly Burgess.
앞에 거. 이쪽 좀 뻗어서 차이차이 잡을게. 언니 캐치 보는 거예요? 보고 하이트 롤까지. 네.
So run back called here, Tyler? Yeah, looks like it.
I think that should be the call, yes. Where that broom is, I don't see a whole lot else.
No, me neither. Really nice shot from Cho-hee Kim.
Yeah, good stuff there. Bit of a long run, too, and rolls towards the center, which obviously is a good thing as well.
Yeah, that was not easy.
Big shot there. Einarson was definitely set up for a multiple point end if that shot's not made. And the good thing, John, with that rock being as high as it was in the house for Einarson is it makes it a lot easier to not set up a double with all the scoring space you have on the other side of the house. If they were ever playing it, they would have had to play a slash on the outside of it if it was running it to a stone in the back of the rings. So clearing that stone now makes it a lot easier to stay away from a 3. 2 still on the table with the guards in play.
Unfortunately, Carly Burgess couldn't find a roll in either direction, so this will be wide open for Kyung-Hae Kim here. Just updating you on the other action out here in the other feature game this afternoon. It's Marco Husley against Ross White. Husley with a big steal in the third end. They lead that one 2-0. Brent Lang and Chris Plies have the call for you on that one. Dunstone and Retornaz are having the longest end in history in their third end. So they've still only played 2. Dunstone is leading that one 2-1 with Hammer. And Eunji Kim just barely hung on the draw for 1 in the third, but Silvana Tirinzoni leads them 3-1, and Tirinzoni has the hammer. They are also playing for All Games Live, currently on Home Team Network. So Carey's ignoring that yellow shot stone here, Tyler.
Yeah, going towards the corner guard. Really no reason to hit that stone, John, unless you're playing all out for the blank and score the way it is. I don't see any reason to do that. So I like the call. See if you can get shot rock underneath corner. Definitely needs to finish a little bit to bury. Would like to see them actually hammer that one back a little farther too. not just to bury, but if your opponent's chasing, if they nose, you can still play a freeze to that rock or use it for backing, either way. Clean throw up the middle. See if this takes as hard a turn. Doesn't appear that it will. As we saw the inside-out shot from Einarson, over-curling with the carve and wrecking the guard. This one, the opposite turn. Just a nice, consistent curl, but not diving really hard.
So it is Kim lying 2 here and leading by 2 in the 4th. Einarson has hammer and has had a bit of trouble generating offense here. Had a shot for 3 in the second end that she missed, gave up a steal. Other than that, Kim has been in control.
Little wobble there from Val on the release, just before it. Love to cross this and get under the corner.
Keep going, roll it.
Not bad, but just a soft roll again too, John. I think they thought it was close on contact to getting the roll, but it's not kicking off of those striking bands hard.
Yeah, you could hear the frustration from Carey there, just still working on trying to figure this all out. It does get mostly buried, but that guard is quite high. This is easily chaseable for Eunjung Kim.
Sweepers on this one right away.
Yeah, this is definitely flirting with the guard here.
Yeah, that's on the guard for sure. It's a matter of where it's going to roll to.
So you heard Carly say she got a 13-2, which that's
probably not enough to push the rock through the ring, so that would explain why curled as much as it did. Can't imagine they were attempting to throw that one.
No, yeah, 13-2 for those of you who maybe don't know time conversions at home. That's probably somewhere close to back line. And as we know, with these houses being dead and that rock chaseable, you could have, and we're probably trying to throw hack there.
I think they're guessing a little bit on speed again, but the good thing with this path for Einarson is there's a big margin for error on where you can be.
It can't be any deeper than that. I'm thinking like 14-7. Like I think it's a fresh path.
Yeah.
13-7. Like we have to sweep it, but
So you heard Carey say, maybe similar to what we saw with Kristen Karwacki's rock last end, that the fresh path is actually the quick path, saying she wants to throw something close to 14-7, which is very, very quick.
So they're believing that it will be up to speed out here now.
Top 4 team.
Really need this to curl.
And the sweepers seem to like the weight here.
It's really coming off.
I think Carrie wants him off.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good spot. Really good
That's
spot.
Pretty much exactly where they would have wanted it. If not exactly, then very close. Einarson lying too.
Sweepers tend to listen when you yell like that.
Yes, usually they do, yeah. Nobody likes to feel like their skip is mad at them.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to needle them. Just not if it affects the actual game.
Yeah, because I think if I kept running, it was okay, but yeah.
I didn't think that was happened. Yeah. It came off like hard. Yeah. Because I thought it was like back. I was hoping it. Yeah. I was like, I liked it.
So it looks like Eunjung Kim happy to concede the 2 here. Just try, well, not happy, but is going to. Gets rid of one of the reds, and now Carrie Einarson will have to make the same draw, but on the other side of the sheet for her 2 points to tie this game. Now she's perhaps changing her mind, throwing the hit instead.
I'm more confident in that than this.
That's Kristen that you're hearing. It seems like they don't necessarily love that side of the sheet for the draw because that is wide open. I think, Tyler, if you had the sheet mapped out in your mind pretty accurately, you'd be throwing the draw here all day.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. She feels really good about this path, the hits, and you're really just throwing.
Let me say what's best for me, to feel at ease, to feel happy. Lovely weather with the breeze, the simplest things. Sad love.
Rio Mare. Great taste needs little. Prime quality tuna and selected olive oil. Rio Mare, the real taste of Italy.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back inside the Mattamy Athletic Centre here in Toronto, Ontario, home of the AMJ Campbell Players Championship. John Cullen alongside Tyler George for this women's draw 6 action between Carrie Einarson and Eunjung Kim. Eunjung Kim leading this one 2-1 with the hammer heading into the 5th. And Tyler, I hate to bring it up because, as we said off the top of the show, we love Carrie, helps us out in the booth, great person, but...
Don't say it.
But this is a story of missed opportunities on her shots so far.
Okay, I thought you were going to blame us.
No, never not.
Okay.
No, of course not.
Right.
No, it's never my fault.
No, yeah, Carrie would be the first to tell you. 2 opportunities, a shot for 3 in the second, give up a steal of 1, and that one was a bit of a sweeping error with the line call. And then 4th end, open hit, pretty much open, for a second point to tie the game, and rolls off just a couple inches too far. So that's your difference on the scoreboard. I don't think if you're Team Einarson, you're overly concerned about your ability to score or set up ends. You just have to finish them off at this point.
Yeah, it's not as though Kim has been playing poorly, but has definitely given some opportunities to Einarson they have not been able to capitalize on. So we'll see what Kim can do with the hammer here. They haven't had the hammer in the last 3 ends. Got forced in the first after Eunjung actually completely missed a takeout.
Gotta go. Hey, go if you have to. Yep. Hard, you look like. We're tight. Hard.
Sweepers indicating this is a little short from Kristen Karwacki. They were hoping to freeze here.
I need to bounce here if it's going to click.
We do get the bounce.
이것도 있긴 해. 지금 각은 괜찮아서. 아니면 하나 더? 들어올 것 같긴 한데. 센터 어때요?
Kim considering for a second drawing to the wing to try to spread these out, but now changing it up and going underneath center guards. Really like to take that position away from Einarson, besides getting it for themselves. And the guards are a little bit staggered, so the run is not an easy run either.
Nice shot there from Sunyoung Kim, and it is Team Kim line 2.
Just play it with normal. Okay. You ever like a little less weight? Just to tap them around? I don't know, just a thought. If we do that, that's pretty good. Okay.
So playing the tap on the tighter guard instead of the run, or trying to come around and tap on the outturn side. It's a little bit unorthodox call, but I like it. As long as you get something out of it.
Oh, you don't want to double click here. Just gets by that top center guard, but the shooter will not stick around.
I don't know if they actually elected to play the softer weight run, or if they were just trying to make sure they were there with that shot, because it sounded like the call from the conversation was tap that up and move those stones around. Never heard kill on anything, but that was obviously enough weight to remove one of the stones.
This is where Kim could pull the shoot here and blank this to keep the hammer into 6, or at least set up the blank. It's obviously no guarantee, but double peel here would go a long way. Like just trying to decide where to put the broom so that you'd never run this red stone back onto the yellow. And will they get the double just? So nice shot there from Cho Hee Kim, and Carrie Einarson not going to mess around here, just hitting the one that's in the rings, and we are once again looking like we're heading to Blanksville.
Yeah, there's not much option for Carrie. I mean, you can't really set up a steal at this point, so just trading hits on the rock in the house. Kim will be very happy about this situation. Now they're able to run another end out, shorten the game even more with only 3 ends to play. Hammer and a 1-point lead going to the 6th end. You're going to win a lot of curling games.
Yeah, no question about it. They're feeling really good.
Good throw. Yeah.
Just hits and changes the line up a little bit, roll into the wing. Neither team with any trouble on time right now, but they'll be able to bank even more. Just trading hits out.
No trouble for Val Sweeting, right on the nose.
That's why I knew we finished.
9초 지금은 약간 조금 좋아.
Go. Yeah.
Your favorite game, Mr. Cullen, besides our own, Retornaz Dunstone, still in the 4th. That one we might see a little hustling going down the stretch.
Yeah, they're both underneath where you'd want to be. They're going to be both heading into the second half of the game with under 16 minutes. Hit made by Kyung-Ae Kim, and now Val Sweeting will follow this one down. And Joelle Retornaz just missed a takeout and gave up a steal of 4 to Matt Dunstone. So that is 7-1. Dunstone now leads heading into the 4th end break. Looked like we were maybe going to see some handshakes from Team Retornaz, but looking like they're not.
After the recount, decided they're going to at least play one more.
Yeah, one more, why not? Kyung-Ae Kim now, another open takeout as we continue our slow march towards a blank end here.
Yeah, I still don't think that Team Einarson really has to change their approach, John. They just haven't been able to execute. You know, coming up short with the come around freeze really changed the end up, and then they ended up chasing. So yeah, what do you do for Carey in the 6th? I mean, you have to force the action because you're already at a point now where you're going to need a 2 and a steal probably in the last 3 ends of play.
Speed's good. Yep. 10-3. Yep. Yep. Whoa.
First rock for Carey Einarson.
Roll it.
And the open hit and stick made once again.
Nice throw. Good. Great speed.
And for Carey, it's going to be really important to get front end stones in place. Try to set up some sort of steal because they really can't get out again in 6 unless they have no choice. And if they do, then you're looking at trying to get a force to go down 2 with or a steal to tie things up, and your percentages of winning the game still very small with either of those scenarios. So really need to press in 6 and make sure this doesn't happen again.
So we'll see the final stone here for Carrie Einarson. Just an open hit. Would love to stick around so that Eunjung Kim does have to throw for the blank. We will be back tonight as well in just under 3 hours time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. One feature game for you. Brent Lang, Chelsea Carey will be on the call for Rachel Homan versus Isabella Vrano. Rachel Homan with one of her rare losses earlier today, lost to Sayaka Yoshimura. So she'll be looking to bounce back from that. And Isabella Vrano had a great win today against Xenia Schwaller, made one of the shots of the week. An in-off for 5 is gorgeously made, so that should be a good one tonight. Isabella also beat Rachel in Guelph, the WFG Masters, one of the few teams to beat Rachel this year.
I like the hit and roll out here, John. My call.
Yeah, blank coming in for Eunjung Kim. Sun Young picking this up right away. This is really curling.
Oh, she's good.
And she's got it. Good sweep from Sun Young Kim.
Yeah, made the double too.
Yeah, why
See
not?
that?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Put it in the books as double.
Double and double zeros going on the board. Kim leads 2-1.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Throw it to the Nubi.
6th end here. Carrie Einarson, Eunjung Kim. Kim leading 2-1 with hammer. 6th end, and as my esteemed colleague Tyler George pointed out last end, pretty pivotal end here in this game. We've kind of seen Carrie unable to really put the pedal to the metal so far, take advantage of her chances, but she's going to have to make a little bit of noise here or this game might get away from her.
Yeah, that's a great result for Kim. Getting the blank in 5 is, even if Einarson forces in 5, down by 2 playing the 6th, you get your 2 in the 6th end, now you've brought it back to a much more manageable situation. Can't do that with the 6th end now. If you get the force and you get your 2, you're tied up with only 1 end to go, and your percentage chance of winning the game are still very small. So if you were going to get the force, it needed to be in 5. Now you really need to get a steal here to up your chances of winning the game. Down by 2 with hammer in 7. If you force this end, again, you're going to need either a 2 and a steal or a 3 in order to win the game.
Just squeaks that rock by, does Sun Young Kim. Kristen Karwacki being asked to follow here. Sounds a little light here, and Carey doesn't seem to love the line either. This is what got them last end, Tyler. They just didn't quite get those lead stones where they needed them.
Yeah, it might be something with that stone, John. We've seen that over curl and come up short in a few ends in this game. I always like to give the players the benefit of the doubt when we get the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Hard to
especially
say.
The leads. Especially the leads.
Yeah, when you see it, the same shot missed with the same rock multiple times, then yeah, you do raise an eyebrow as to what's going on there.
Well, and we know how good Kristen Karwacki is. Played in the last 2 Scotties with Team Einarson, was first All-Star 2 years ago, and then this year was second team All-Star. When you lose someone as good as Brienne Harris, very tough to replace, but Kristen has done an unbelievable job for this team. And so, yeah, I agree to your point, Tyler. If you're consistently missing with one rock, it's probably something that's out of your control when you're that good of a lead. And so Team Kim taking maybe a bit of an unconventional timeout here, taking a timeout on lead stones to decide how they want to approach this end. Maybe similar to what you were talking about, Tyler, just wanting to make sure they keep control of the scoreboard. We'll listen in here.
얘가 이쪽이라서. 그래서 사이드를 먼저 빼놓고 프리즈 하면 깨라고.
John, I think you got 2 options really. I mean, you can throw to the wide side open, or you can lob one around on top of your own. I think you come right around again because those guards are staggered. If you get 2 underneath them, it's going to take Einarson 2 shots to move your stone so that you can do anything underneath those guards. I think they're throwing open. I don't agree with this call just because you 100% know what shot Einarson's going to throw if you throw the wing. They're going to play the freeze right around to that stone, and now you have your force set up.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Tyler, for sure. I guess this is the shot you play if you want to try to bring 3 into play.
Yeah, you can get 3 every bit as easily if you play around the center, though, too. But the number one thing that you're trying to avoid is the steal. And the shot that avoids the steal is the come-around draw. You don't need to try to end the game right now. Now, if this was the second end or something early in the game, in a tight game, maybe that's a shot you consider more and put pressure on your opponent because you're trying to get the lead to win the game. You have it right now. The math says that you're in a great position to win if you just score a single point. And the shot that gets you that position more than any other is going to be to come around and take that position away from Einarson.
Looks like Carey is guarding against the double peel here.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to make him waste a few stones. They feel that if they throw that come-around draw or come-around freeze, that they'll play the double peel immediately, which they probably will, but then you're just guarding it throughout the end, which is not a bad thing either with where that rock is. So
yeah, this also sets up a potential triple peel. I mean, I think they would have liked this rock a little higher maybe from Carly Burgess, but definitely a chance to get rid of multiple reds here for Choi Kim.
I've made that noise before myself. I know that. I can translate that.
Yeah. That was, I didn't slide very good. That's the universal sound for that.
That's great. Going off the tracks here, guys.
Yeah, you could see Choi Kim just sliding a little wide there. That's what that noise was. And got it back, but could only make the single peel. Does it seem to you, Tyler, like maybe Carey thinks the freeze isn't there?
I was seeing the same thing.
I'd be awfully surprised if that was the case. The rock's not even completely buried.
Oh, I agree. I just, she was talking about, do we ever poke this red one into the house and kind of try and open it up that way. Like, I just wonder if they think that they can't get there for some reason.
Still there. Okay. Line's fine. Work harder. Line's good.
In any case, same shot called for Carly Burgess.
Yeah, you got a little higher.
She watches her own shot from an almost 90-degree angle. Miss for Val now allows for the double peel for Team Kim. And there's not really much they can
Did they say
do.
15-8 on the hog to hog?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that right? Because if that's the case, then that line is
seems-
absolute lightning.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Compared to what we've seen, too.
Yeah.
It'll be a full second faster.
This a little tight from Kyung-ae. Does not really get the spin off the center line she was hoping for, but does get rid of both reds. Kim continues to lie too. But that's a double guard now, kind of. Tyler, that red rock in the house now acting like a guard too if Val could ever make this hit and roll.
Yeah, what we believe was accidental come around draw actually ended up being a pretty good shot. Now with how these are staggered.
The roll is pretty imperative here for Val Sweeting, trying to tuck a piece. And don't quite get buried, but not a terrible spot for that.
No, that's not bad at all. It plays to edge, and the top red one plays into a jam on the yellow in the back of the 8-foot. So not a bad setup for Einarson here.
안 묻으려면 거의 이렇게 맞아야 돼. 아니면 앞에 거 있고. 앞에 거면 또 묻기네요.
That's where I'm like almost do we just
하나 치고 빼도 될 것 같은데.
I think they're almost
근데 더블
we're
되면 뭐.
gonna carve it too much.
6 라인까지 빼면
Like in the curly stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
더블이 있어?
11.
I feel like we needed to take weight off if anything.
11.
That's true.
이렇게 있어서 6 라인까지. 좋기는 이거 약간 정태 바깥 맞고 묻어서 한 개 남아도 한 개만 빼주면 나쁘진 않긴 한데.
So what do you think they're concerned about here, Tyler?
Well, I think they'd really like to get rid of that rock in the top of the 8-foot, but that angle plays really poorly for them into that rock behind the tee line. So they're looking at maybe playing the guard in.
Oof.
As it's really tough to hit the number one counter and not roll away with those being edge to edge. And if you touch the one in the top 8, you push it under the guard possibly. Then a guard comes down for Einarson. They're sitting 2 buried. if it moves that top one far enough. So I think they're just afraid of, like, you could throw a really good rock and get a really bad result with where those stones are situated. Playing the guard, at least they know something good should happen.
Wow.
Plays into the jam. Little unlucky, but
yeah, such a good shot to just jam it and leave Einarson shot. Really good though from Kyung-A.
그러니까 그 웨이트가 많이 세지지. 뭐라고요?
Yeah.
그래가지고.
Yeah, I was thinking if we go in, like, you gotta go here, but then it's still even. She just slapped. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so are we touching the line or off the line?
We don't want to be right in front of it, or we don't have a lot of protection for the
센터가 안 돼요.
You want the rock just biting.
이제는
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking of playing this card. Right?
저 써먹기에는
I think we know this one for turns abroad. Yeah.
그러니까 그냥 안에 거 먼저 빼고 빠진 거 빼는 거. 조금 더.
Yeah. So here we're gonna go right on. Yeah. And then they're gonna come around, and then we just gotta choose either deep, and I have a freeze. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think so. So right here.
Seemed like one of those timeouts where Carey kind of knew what she wanted to do, just get everybody and Coach Reed on the same page.
Yeah, it's really kind of how aggressive you want to play this end for a steal, too, because force isn't an awful result. Steal would be preferable. The steal is what gives you the highest percentage chance of winning the game going forward. Makes sense. You're putting a point on the board. But the force, you're not dead at the least. You know, 2 and a steal and you win. Get a 3, you got a good chance. But I think you really want to press for the steal here. That's what gives you your best chance of winning the game.
This is really tight.
First rock for Carey Einarson, 6th end, down by 1.
To the end.
Throwing a guard here, trying to protect her shot stone.
Here, higher. To your broom. To your broom.
Okay, we're there.
Yep. Whoa.
Guard made, maybe a little deeper than she wanted it. But not bad. We do have our first final out here as well. Joelle Retornaz could only manage 1 in the 5th end, so Matt Dunstone a 7-2 winner. That'll improve Dunstone to 1-1. Retornaz drops to 0-2. So we're going to see Eunjung ignore that guard. I think Carey said in the timeout she thought that Eunjung might peel it, but she is going to draw around here.
Yeah, I like the call. You're playing to score, and that's really the most important thing here. You get your 1 point. Again, you're putting your opponent in a situation where they need a 2 and a steal or a 3. And you bring 2 back into the picture by playing this too.
Choi and Sun, yeah, exactly. Choi and Sun Young on this pretty much all the way down. Gotta get it there. And Eunjung just pulling the string on that one slightly.
That's your worst case scenario too. Now it's staggered underneath. There's no way in. So if Einarson can bury here, it's an almost sure steal.
Yeah. Yeah. It was wider, but it came off a little bit. Yeah. 15 is a little wider.
Well, Tyler, we've seen Carey have a few critical shots this game, a few chances to score some points. Hasn't been able to find it yet. But at this juncture might be the most crucial so far. She can make this draw buried. It's going to be very difficult for Eunjung Kim to score. Final stone here in 6.
I've seen rocks turning over and dying on this line too, so you really want to make sure you keep brooms down.
Yeah, it looks like a slightly wider line than Eunjung had. They definitely liked the weight out of her hand a little better.
This will finish hard. The line will be okay, just has to be there.
Yeah, Carly Burgess and Kristen Karwacki leaning on it, trying to bring it in. And
yeah, same thing, just letting that stone die. We've seen that consistently, John. That's not something that they shouldn't expect at this point.
Yeah, and you can see there is probably an angle here for Eunjung Kim to perhaps make the double for 2. And that would be, again, another really unfortunate result for Carey Einarson in a great scoring opportunity situation.
No, this would be a dagger for Carey. If that rock buries on that path, really, really tough score for Kim.
Yeah, and again, against 2, if you're Kim, you might have almost seen her drawing to it to give up 1, or maybe even running her yellow corner in to try and just get rid of the second shot stone and only give up 1. So yeah, definitely this is a very good scenario for Eunjung Kim. It's not easy, but it is definitely there. Slash double 4-2.
Good throw. Look clean.
Sounds close. Sounds close.
Oh, look at that.
What a shot. Yes, it moves just far enough. Unbelievable from Eunjung Kim. Slash double 4-2 continues to punish Carey Einarson for her mistakes. Kim leads 4-1.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
You said it, partner, right out of the hand, clean throw from Eunjung Kim, and puts the points on the board. Phenomenal slash double. Not an easy shot at all, but she made it look easy there. And again, hate to keep bringing it up, but it is just Carey Einarson not quite being able to come up with that final shot that she needs to really cinch some points, and now really behind the 8 ball, down 4-1.
That's two sides of the coin on that one, John. First off, great shot by Team Kim. Perfectly managed, perfectly swept, perfectly thrown. You know, had to be exactly where she hit it. Hats off on that one. But opposite side, all you got to do is sweep that rock, and that's buried, and you're having a tough draw for 1 against a 2. Einarson very likely tied at worst if they bury that stone and get it to top of the button. And again, we saw the same thing that we've been seeing throughout these 2 days, is those draw to the button paths, especially getting later into the game, they're just not carrying. So you really need to keep the brooms down, hammer those things late, make sure it's there. I would even say under that circumstance, like if you think you're close to top 4, just go. And if you end up going to backside of tee, then that's what happens. But you cannot leave that short and open in that situation. Great shot again, though, by Kim.
Well, and it does seem, Tyler, that draws are not easy to make on this sheet. So, you know, agreeing with your point there, I think for Carey, if you're just even back tee, even if you're back button, that's not a gimme for Eunjung. We've seen it's tough ice to make draws on, especially a pressure draw against 2 like that. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think unfortunate. Carey maybe underthrew it a hair, but also just a little bit lost by the sweepers. And we have seen that from Team Einarson in this game. They just haven't quite been able to manage those draw shots effectively, and it's cost them. So big mountain to climb here, down 3 in 7. They do have the hammer, but they're going to need to score at least 2 here. Going to see the double corners go up for Kristen Karwacki.
And this is the stone that we've questioned, her second stone, with it stopping short and over curling a few times. This one certainly not heavy again, but get it to even up. Good pair there from Wacker.
Yeah, you always feel like, or at least I did when I played lead for a number of years, that if you had a trouble rock, you never minded throwing guards with it usually. It just, you have a little bit more room to play with. You know that it can kind of be, as long as the line is correct, it can kind of be in about a 6-foot area and still be effective. And there's something about that helps your confidence when you go to throw it, even if you know it's not a great rock, or as opposed to if you got to make a really precise draw, the rock can get in your head, you can maybe get a little cute with it. So yeah, I feel like that's probably that type of situation for Karwacki there, where even if she's not loving that rock, when you know you can throw a guard with it, you feel a lot better about that. Kim just stacking all 3 in the house here with those 2 corner guards up.
And the more they pile those stones up in the house, the harder it gets to score multiple points for Einarson. You have to move those rocks around in order to be able to use the corners.
12, 8, 13, little light.
Sweeting and Karwacki indicating this might be a little on the light side. They want to really jiggle these stones around with the dead houses, Tyler. I would be a little wary of being light on this shot.
Yeah, they'd love to roll under the corner if they can, too.
That's very
good shot.
Yeah, gets fully behind that corner.
It does move the stones around a decent amount, too.
Yeah, maybe a little more than we were expecting given the weight call from Sweeting and Karwacki. Very nice. Quick score update for you. Unji Gim was down 4-1 to Silvana Tiranzoni, but picked up a big 2 in the 5th end. That game is now 4-3. Tiranzoni with the hammer in 6. As the corner guard peel made from Choi Kim. Can't really remember a time when Choi missed a shot in this game. In full value here this afternoon at the Mattamy Athletic Center.
Again, need to keep the weights controlled here and keep rocks in play. Just trying to play to a tap on this rock to move it back under the corner guard. Looking close to just a little more than freeze.
Taps that yellow and rolls to pretty close to a freeze.
A little straighter side, trying to get underneath the corners. We've seen that throughout the game as well.
Yeah, they might have just got a little unlucky. I don't know if the double might be here for Kyung-ae.
I think it just is.
Yeah, it looks like it from up here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you're touching any of your own stones. It just goes perfectly through that hole.
반 되기 전까지 좋아. 플랜 B는 두껍게 세이트 롤. 네.
This could be a real end-ender for Kyung-ae Kim if made.
The old end-ender.
The old end-ender. You like that? I can't believe it took me to the 5th Grand Slam of the season to come up with that.
Well, it sounds like the feed skipped for a second.
Kyung-ae Kim looking for the double. Got 1, got 2. Does it go far enough? It does to lie 3. Doesn't quite get it out of the house, but still very good. And as you said, Tyler goes right through that hole. Doesn't disturb any of the yellows. We'll take another look here.
Yeah, not even close to touching any of the yellows.
No.
It's a double. to have both go definitely was there.
Yeah, I needed to just hit that red one a little thicker, but still a pretty good scenario here if you're Team Kim. Freeze the only call for Val Sweeting. And even if you make this freeze, Kim will still be lying 2, both on the button.
T-line! T-line! T back 4! Back 4! Line only. Curl.
And same thing, just expecting.
Well, they end up losing one of their own and actually creating a bit of a pocket here, Tyler.
Yeah, it's not an easily accessible one. They'll have to move both those yellows in the forefoot still.
Can you make it with this?
You could probably play the double or at least play somewhat solid weight and roll underneath. So I think it's more that you're killing 2 and rolling to a freeze. That should definitely bring at least a 2 into play.
11.
Throwing quite a bit of weight here is Val Sweeting. That's not bad. It is shot now. But it is wide open, as you can see there.
Yeah, that's really close to a great shot. If it curls just a little bit more, that rolls underneath the corner, plays into the jam, and kills the other yellow. So then if you're Kim, at some point you have to consider hitting the winger. But they can still get to the inside, or at least the nose on the #1 counter. Sit 3, which again will make it very difficult for Einarson to make the red in the outside 12-foot count.
Yeah, pretty much has to score 2 here, does Carrie Einarson, and even then their chances of winning are low. First rock for Eunjung Kim here in end number 7. Cho-hee really trying to bring this over.
And just needs to get the nose to avoid the jam. That should be just fine.
Yeah, nice sweep there from Cho-hee Kim. And Team Kim lies 3.
Yeah, really not a lot of options now for Einarson again. If they hit and roll the top one to under the corner, they're still looking at 2.
Yeah, that was sort of the classic, both the skip and third stand back and look at the house like...
Trying to move the rocks with your mind.
I really don't like anything I see here.
It's maybe you could play soft around the outside of the corner guard and try to get to the inside of that stone. I think that might be all you have, even though it's probably going to be a pretty big guess on the line. I don't know that you have much choice. That's your other option, but you're still probably going to be able to see a pretty good piece of it.
As you can see, tons of time on the clock for Einarson to discuss this. We'll listen in.
But it's pretty thin, eh?
Yeah.
I thought was, yeah. Yeah.
first thought was that.
The draw, she can just pick
I haven't really even looked at the intern draw around the outside of the corner, John.
Yeah. Okay. What line do we know better? I think this line is probably best. Thinking there. This is that
Do you
line
think
cut I threw in the
14.5?
first end.
It's a weird pass. Yeah. So we're a little bit tighter. Yeah.
So trying to freeze on that back one time?
Yeah, I think 4-3.
I guess the thought is, I mean, if you get a miss on a frozen stone, great,
Yeah.
unlikely. But
I like that.
if you make the freeze and you force
Yeah,
Kim to
yeah.
peel out, lose their own and the shooter, maybe there's a soft weight double on the other two for 2. Really close. Hard to keep the shooter and play enough weight to lose both stones.
It'd be tough for sure, but I agree that might be your thought, or might be their thought, rather. First stone, Carrie Einarson.
It's there. It's heavy.
Back 12.
Looking for a freeze. Sweeper's indicating it's a little heavy out of hand.
This should hit the brakes as it crosses the center line. We'll see.
Yeah, back 12 is not going to be helpful here. And I think this is not going to get anywhere close, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's more than back 12.
It is through the house, and there certainly won't be a shot for 2 for Carrie Einarson. Unjung Kim could throw this into the boards and not give up 2. So just trying to put 1 in a spot that makes Carrie's draw for 1 even tougher.
Yeah, if you get this top of the 8-foot on the draw path for the outturned side, tough score for Carrie.
Yeah, they'd love to put it there. It's not only that it's a tough draw for Carrie, but it would be a tough draw against 4.
You want to make her take a path that's going either really wide or through a stagger, one way or the other. So I think you want this just touching center line, either top 12 or top 8. Try to make Carrie have to go out wide. Maybe a little wider even than touching center line. The line looks really good right now. Yeah, that's a good spot, as long as it sits.
Really good.
Great spot.
Yeah, pretty much exactly where they would have wanted it. And so Carrie's going to have to go out a little wide. One thing that's working for her is she has that backing on the yellow stone there, but if you ever flirt with the top yellow, you're giving up a bundle.
I just like when they throw it exactly where we say.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for listening to us up here in the booth. I love looking like a genius. It's one of my favorite things, so I also appreciate it.
I don't get it all the time.
not
often enough.
No, I was going to say, yeah.
We'll take it when we get it.
So final stone, Carrie Einarson, down 3 and drawing against 4.
Top 4.
Needs a piece of the 4-foot for 1.
Top 4.
Doesn't look heavy.
No, Carly Burgess leaning on it now.
Needs to go.
You need it now.
Yeah, Karwacki picking it up. Looks pretty good.
There should be by.
It's well managed by Burgess and a nice shot by Einarson, but it will be a 2-point lead and the hammer for Kim in the 8th.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Mowat, Gushue, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Okay, they're good.
It has been all one-way traffic here. Eunjung Kim has been in control. Carrie Einarson has had a few chances to impose her will on this game, but hasn't been able to capitalize. And now here we are in the 8th end. Team Kim leading Team Einarson 4-2, and they have the hammer. Pretty enviable position to be in. I'm not an analytics expert, but if I had to say, the analytics are probably telling Team Einarson right now that they're in really, really tough. On the John Cullen really, really tough scale, they're in really, really tough.
Yeah, I think I could confirm that. I've never seen the scale, but just shot in the dark, you're probably right.
So we did hear just before we went to break, Team Einarson going to throw double centers. I'm not really telling you anything you don't know if you're a fan of curling. That's what you have to do with.
Is that one on the John Cullen wheel of strategy?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it looked like when I played, that maybe we kind of spun a wheel, see what happens.
That space on the wheel is listen to the skip and then say what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really brilliant, actually.
It's a good idea when you're in the booth to just listen. And in life, really, too.
Oh, sorry. 이쪽에서 봤을 때 물렸어.
So the second center guard going to go up here for Kristen Karwacki. Again, we will be back with you in about 2 hours' time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Team Rachel Homan facing off against Team Isabella Vrano tonight. Brent Lang and Chelsea Carey will be on the call for that one. Here on the Home Team Network, don't miss it. And of course, we will have continuing coverage of the AMJ Campbell Players Championship all week long on Home Team Network. Every draw, every game, just like we have all season long, and it's free.
Just simple shots here. For Team Kim now, same thing. You're just keeping your opponent off the board. A score, very high percentage chance of winning the game.
That's really well done by Sun Young Kim. Her and Cho Hee have been very solid here this afternoon. Yeah, looking at those percentages, Son Young 96%, Cho Hee 93%. So when you're getting the end set up like that, TG, it's usually leads to good things.
You know the back end appreciates it. Having the end set up just to finish it off, and hasn't been for lack of opportunities for Einarson, but his last few shots, make or miss, that's what they hang on the scoreboard.
And unfortunately for Carly Burgess, that's just a little too heavy. With the 2-point lead, you're not going to see Kim hit it, but it is wide open for whenever she needs to do so. Just a single peel here for Cho Hee. And that's well done again by Cho Hee. Also for the curling fans, very exciting event coming up next week in Nashville. The first ever Grand Slam of Curling and Curling Group All-Star Game. 12 of the sport's best athletes will be heading down to the T-Line in Nashville. Tickets are still available at theGrandSlamOfCurling.com. It's going to be a real party, a skills competition, all-star game. Lots of fun events planned. Some celebrities will be in attendance as well. You do not want to miss it. And if you can't be in Nashville, it will be streamed next week as well. So don't worry. We've got every angle covered for you. It's going to be a real blast. Next Tuesday and Wednesday. Another peel here is the call for Cho Hee Kim. And again, No mistake made.
Do it one more guard, or you could do this.
And they blast.
I'm always a proponent of when you're thinking about, do we throw one more guard, throw one more guard.
Yeah. Why not, eh?
If you don't know that your opponent is going to go into the house with their next shot, if you think it's a choice for them, or if you're sure they're going to do it, that's a big difference. So if there's any question whatsoever, then always side with the guard to make your opponent waste another stone.
Yeah, I think well, we can't. Yeah, she might just do that too. I mean, she has this, but she's risking jamming it. Yeah. Tricky in this spot. Yeah. See if we
Can you guard ours?
stay here. And then they rip. Yeah. This red will be back here, but it'll be a little harder for them. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Just try and play like with back eight. I think I mean back eight. I think we need. It'll come down.
So no real easy choice here for Team Einarson. When you have to steal 2, there's no other option. It is very difficult to generate 2. So they were talking through a number of options, whether that was guarding their own redstone in the house, throwing another center guard, whether it was coming down and tapping their own, jiggling it around. Who knows? But I think what they're electing to do now is come around and hit the shot stone on the button, or not hit it, but tap it back rather with back 8 weight. And unfortunately does not get by the top one. I don't think they left a double. But yeah, for Kim, I think the decision pretty easy. I think this is what Team Einarson was kind of talking about, that they were always going to be peeling this center guard as Tyler George returns to
100% agree, John. What'd you say?
Returns to the broadcast booth after calling one shot of the Husley White game.
Boy, it was a beauty, too. I was glad I jumped over for that.
That might be the first mid-game commentator switch we've
what a weld
had all season.
What a weld, by the way. Jeez. You might get the force out of that, or a steal.
Ooh, just about got that second red. They weren't trying super hard for it, but would have been a nice bonus to get it. Well, the center guards are all gone now, and we'll see what Carrie Einarson wants to play. Again, tons of time left on the clock and a timeout.
Is this going to be another long conversation?
It's a good question.
If Val moves from the hack towards the other end, I'm leaving again.
That's fine. I can handle it.
Chris abandoned Brent. Better things to do.
Oh, geez.
We're in the middle of the game.
Wow.
Just across center.
Some kind of media thing.
Okay.
Plus, I got the boss behind me here, too. Big boss. The czar. Mr. Solsky.
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to see me running back and forth between games, putting in overtime.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Nick,
I can
did
call
you see me
2
running back and forth
I can
between
call
the
2
games,
games
doing
at
both
once.
games?
I can call 2 at once.
That's overtime, right? I just jumped over there, came back over here. It's unbelievable. The effort I put in, it's incredible. Now he knows. I'm going to go back over, too.
Center guard up for Val Sweeting. This is going to be a center guard peel. So, but the end's over on Husley White. So,
not much for me to do over there. I think.
Yeah.
Brent can handle that one.
소녀 기다려 이거는. 아니 초인 괜찮아.
Peel made, opens up the center once again.
앞에 노란색으로 10초 뭐 이런 걸로 떼놓고. 뒤에 거 약간.
So Coach Reed Carruthers out here to discuss how they can maybe get a steal of 2 going here.
그래서 지금. I just don't know how I got there. 10초 같은 걸로. 센터 있는 인텔 롤에서. Yeah.
Not seeing a whole lot here for the deuce. You got to create some kind of angle where you can keep 2 in or make them look at 3 on the last is probably your best option, John.
And then she crotches it, and then
Yeah, I think so. It's like I said when you were gone to the Husley White game, when you know your opposition has to steal 2. Like, stealing 2 does happen, but it happens so rarely when you know that that's what your opponent has to do. That's when it gets very difficult.
It's one thing it's important to make clear to the viewing audience is that, yes, we do see steals of 2, but it's invariably in situations where both teams are trying to score.
Exactly.
Or one team isn't playing all-out defense. So it's incredibly hard to steal 1 point when a team is going all out to stop you from doing that.
4-4-7-5.
2 points, that much tougher.
Yeah, just to be sure. Yeah. Okay.
So I think just playing a freeze here, Tyler?
Looks to be the call with where the broom is at. Another option would have been to try to clear both yellows now if you don't think you're leaving a double back. You gotta hope that you can, as we said, either make clearing either one of your counters difficult, going the last stone, or make them look at more than 2.
Got to get off this red stone, though.
Yeah, straighter side again. Just hairs it.
A little kiss.
Rolls underneath.
Yeah, doesn't end up on top of that stone. I think Einarson is shot, but yeah, going to be very difficult to generate a 2 here for Carrie Einarson, I think, as long as Unjung can get rid of one of these reds.
Yeah, don't get cute. I mean, you could play this straight run and lose both reds, but have to make sure that that number 1 counter goes. If it ever does just catch a piece of that, yes, you could lose both, but kind of risky.
근데 얘가 하면 얘까지 이길 수 있긴 있어서.
They're really making it hard for me to get a lot of this last end in the other game, too. But there might be an extra end in the other game. This one, a little bit more unlikely.
어때? 그리고 우리 게 여기까지 들어오고.
상대는 어려워가지고. 1개 남아서.
그러니까 세게 하다가 이것도 안 맞고 저것도 안 되면
그거 하는 게 제일 좋은 거.
근데 여기가 좀 뻗지만 좋은 건 괜찮은 것 같아.
뻗죠, 근데 그래도 3반 4.
So they did settle on that short run, John. Taking a little bit of broom, so I don't think they're overthrowing this.
First rock here for Unjung Kim in the 8th. Trying to run, very short run, her Yellowstone back onto the red. Sweeper's on this right out of the hand. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were playing the angle the entire way instead of playing it straight back to shot rock, which is a little surprising. I think you could sneak through there now with maybe through the house weight to back 12 weight, tap that, and sit 2.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's probably all you got.
At least you make them throw something then. And if you tap this to just barely third count, that short run plays into a jam. So 2 is actually in the picture now. This is an incredibly tough shot. Very small port, but I think it's there.
It's there, yeah.
And if you make it, you have a pretty good chance of stealing 2 because of the angles.
Okay, you got it. You got it, Carrie. Let's make it.
Final stone for Carrie Einarson, and hoping it's not her final stone of the game here in the 8th end. Needs to play a short little tap back on this Yellowstone through a tight port.
And they have to move it too, John. Has to be enough weight.
This looks light. This looks light. Karwacki and Burgess trying to drag it. Looks like she's through the port. No, just clicks off, and so that will be that.
All right, I'm going to the other game.
All right, great try from Carrie Einarson. Thank you to Tyler George for joining me for this one as he heads over to finish off with Brent Lang the Marco Husley-Ross White game. But in our game, it is a 4-2 final. Unjung Kim improving to 2-0. Carrie Einarson dropping to 1-1. Great game for the Korean squad. Again, we will be back in about 2 hours' time with Vrano and Homan. You won't want to miss that. You wouldn't want to miss Tyler hopping over with Brent Lang right now to watch.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock.